One of the most listened to episodes of EFT Tapping Junction is the episode where I share how to combine EFT with the Sedona Method. So I was not surprised when I received an email from a listener with the subject line EFT and Sedona Method, and his question: can the combined method be used for goal setting, problem solving? Given that January is an excellent time to assess how we did the previous year and what we can look forward to and choose for our new realities in the coming year, that's also known as goal setting. In this episode, you and I will explore exactly how we can combine EFT with the Sedona Method for achieving goals. You and I will also discuss the recent announcement by Gary Craig detailing his next steps in retirement. You'll also meet the person who will be taking over for Gary as far as the administration of his website, the Palace of Possibilities, and you will discover what she has in mind for the weeks, months, and perhaps even years ahead. Steve Carter here, your host for EFT Tapping Junction. I do thank you for joining me. Who is this show for? If you use emotional freedom techniques, thought field therapy, or other tapping protocols to help others or for self-care, this show is for you. By way of brief introduction, over more than 4 decades, I have helped thousands of people achieve happier, healthier, more successful lives using an array of coaching and energy methods. Over the years, I've earned trainer and practitioner certifications in emotional freedom techniques, thought field therapy, neurolinguistic programming, meditation, and many other methods. To learn more about my background and to listen to previous episodes of this show and other shows focused on emotional and physical well-being, visit us at stressreliefradio.com. A few days ago, I received a message from listener David, who is from the land down under, better known as Australia. The subject line of his email read, EFT and Sedona Method. His question: can the combined method be used for goal setting, problem solving? Thank you, and then he signed it. Given this is the time of year that we look back on the previous year to determine or assess how successful we've been, what was good, what was not so good, and we look forward to assess what we would like new in our lives for the coming months, the coming year, I decided to share the information that I provided to David with the entire community here on the EFT Tapping Junction podcast. As a listener to this show, you are obviously aware of what emotional freedom techniques is and how it's applied. Before we discuss how to combine the two methods together, we need to know just a bit about what the Sedona Method is and how it came to pass. Beginning in the 1950s, a gentleman by the name of Lester Levenson developed what would become the Sedona Method for emotional healing. At age 42, he had suffered a second massive heart attack. In 1952, when this occurred, there were no bypass surgeries, there were no stents. Doctors told Lester that there was little hope for him and that he should get his affairs in order because the next heart attack would be the last heart attack. Lester went home, and as you might imagine, he was quite depressed. He was determined, however, to live beyond the 2 weeks. The doctors suggested he would survive. Lester was a highly educated physicist and engineer, so he started to look in the prevailing literature of medical research, philosophy, and other related topics. He also started to question himself. One key question he asked, when am I happy? Initially, the answer came to him, you're happy when other people give you approval, when other people care about you and love you. He thought about that and he said, no, that is not quite right. I am truly happy when I am giving love to others. From that insight, Lester went on to develop what would become the Sedona Method for emotional release. As Lester gained additional insights, he applied them in his own life, and symptom by symptom, they all disappeared. He was 42 years old at the time, and he went on to live for 42 more years without ever seeing another doctor. The two primary versions of Lester's work would later be led by Hale Dwoskin, who now leads the Sedona Method, and a long-term student of Lester's, a gentleman by the name of Larry Crane, who founded the organization to teach the release technique. Both of these systems were founded on Lester's work. However, both systems went on to develop additional methods for releasing that went beyond Lester's foundational work. You'll find links to both the Sedona Method website and the Release Technique website in this episode's show notes. Returning to our process of combining EFT with the Sedona Method, whether you go about setting New Year's resolutions or you would simply like to expand your skills by learning how to combine EFT with the Sedona Method for setting goals, I believe you will find insights in the information that we'll share here in this episode. I'm going to paraphrase the response that I gave to David, and I'll be adding some additional information that I did not include with that response. I, of course, thank David for listening to the EFT Tapping Junction, and then I answered David. The short answer to your question is yes for both. Let's take goal setting first. You've likely heard goals should be, quote, SMART, as in specific, measurable, achievable, and time-bound. There are countless books, videos, and other resources about how to set SMART goals, so we won't be going into that process here. One aspect of goal setting that does not get the attention it deserves is identifying how strongly you truly want to achieve a given goal. After crafting a goal statement, I encourage clients to let it sit for 1 or 2 days and then return to review the goal. Ask out loud, if there were no limiting beliefs or resource limitations, on a 0 to 10 scale, how strongly do I desire this goal to be a new reality for me? This 0 to 10 scale for identifying how strong a positive expectation is, this is called the subjective units of success or the SUS scale. This differs from the subjective unit of distress or SUD scale. That scale is usually applied in classic EFT. After asking that question, preferably out loud, be quiet and wait for your subconscious to serve up the answer. If you've been trained in applied kinesiology and know how to do self-muscle testing, you can use that process along with allowing any intuitive insights to emerge into your awareness. Do know, however, that self-muscle testing can be tricky. So I recommend you use a variety of statements to confirm the answer. Depending on how you learned applied kinesiology, you may have been taught to use questions, or you may have been taught to use statements and test the veracity or the validity of the statements or questions through the muscle testing process. While either questions or statements can work, the best practice is to use statements and test against the statements. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, simply be open to whatever your subconscious sends up to your awareness. Allow that information to be conscious without judgment. Returning to the subjective unit of success, depending on the work needed to achieve the goal. If the answer is less than 8 on that 0 to 10 scale, it is unlikely you will have the persistence to achieve the goal. In that case, revisit and rework, if needed, how the goal is crafted, the time frame for achievement, and other aspects of the goal statement until you reach an 8 or more on the subjective units of success scale. If you can't reach a level above a 5, as an example, reconsider whether you really want to achieve this goal. One key question here: is this truly my goal, or have I crafted this goal to please someone else? If this goal is not truly your goal, I suggest let it go in favor of goals that are truly your goals. If you do reach an 8 or higher, or for some reason you decide to continue work on a given goal, despite less than a strong desire to achieve that goal, ask yourself, are there any limiting beliefs that will affect the achievement of this goal? Are there any limiting beliefs that will affect the achievement of this goal? Wait for your subconscious to serve up an answer. A yes may show up as a physical sensation, or it may simply show up as a sense of knowing. If a yes emerges, use an EFT setup statement such as, I choose to bring into conscious awareness any limiting belief or beliefs related to the achievement of this goal. Tap through the points using a reminder phrase such as limiting belief awareness, limiting belief awareness. If one or more limiting beliefs are identified, here's where you can use the Sedona Method to neutralize that limiting belief or those limiting beliefs. Begin by getting in touch with the felt sense of the belief or the beliefs and say out loud, could I let this go? Could I let this go? Meaning, are you capable of letting it go? And by the way, you can use either I or you. You can say, could you let this go? As if you are talking to someone else. Either I or you will likely work. Ask, could I let this go? And then just be silent. Let whatever emerges come into your awareness. Even if it's a no, the fact is you are already starting to let it go. Your next question: would I let this go? Would I let this go? Meaning, are you willing to let it go? Your third question: when? That is the invitation to let it go now. Continue releasing until that felt sense of the limiting belief or beliefs reach a 0 or near 0. For this exercise, we are back with the subjective unit of distress scale, 0 to 10, with 10 being maximum distress and 0 being absolutely no distress, no sense of resistance whatsoever. As an example, let's say you would love to become a more accomplished public speaker. You have important things you would like to share, but you simply are afraid of speaking in public. Let's assume your limiting belief was, I'm afraid of public speaking. You've used the Sedona method to get your SUD scale down to 0, 1, perhaps a 2. If it's 3 or more, continue using the Sedona method until you can get your SUD scale down to preferably a 0 or 1. If you get stuck after several rounds of applying the Sedona method, then after each of these 3 statements, do a round of EFT tapping after a combined EFT setup statement and reminder statement of, I choose to let it all go. I choose to let it go. It's safe to let it go. Let it all go. Let it go. We'll assume now that limiting belief of I'm afraid of public speaking is down to a 0 or a 1. It's now time to tap in a positive EFT statement or an EFT choices method statement, such as, I choose to remember the many times I've spoken passionately to others. I will enter the same mindset as I speak about this important goal. Your concise setup statement, I remember the many times that I've spoken passionately. Your reminder phrase could be, speak passionately, and repeat that reminder phrase as you tap each of the EFT tapping points. If the limitation relates to resources, after making sure you've neutralized any and all limiting beliefs, you'll identify exactly what resources are needed, and then you go about finding or creating those needed resources. In the case of public speaking, as an example, perhaps you believe a coach is needed to help you build public speaking skills. Perhaps you decide an adult education or community college class in public speaking may just be what you need, or you may choose to join Toastmasters. You decide what you need, and then you decide how to engage the appropriate resources. You will, of course, substitute whatever the appropriate resources are for your specific goals. If you encounter any resistance for engaging with your chosen resources, you can use Sedona or EFT tapping to neutralize any sense of resistance, and then choose a positive or a choices method statement to move forward and engage those resources and to take whatever other action is needed to achieve your chosen goal. From there, you go about the business of building a strong image of what your new life will be after you have achieved your chosen goal. To return to David's other question about problem solving, what's important here is to gain true clarity about exactly what the problem is. Once real clarity about what problem you are attempting to solve is gained, the solution options will often emerge easily. Once you make the decision about how to solve that problem, you have, in effect, created a goal. And to achieve that goal, you apply the exact process that we just discussed. As I suggested to David, Have a listen to the EFT Tapping for Clarity and Confidence when Making Decisions episode, which I will link in the show notes. Other EFT Tapping Junction episodes that I will link that will provide additional guidance on using EFT for goal setting and for taking action include harnessing the power of EFT to achieve your health goals, combine EFT and the Sedona Method for deep and rapid results, creating EFT Choices Method resource states to achieve any goal, positive EFT tapping for sky-high confidence. All of these episodes will be listed in the show notes. Let's turn our attention to the announcement by Gary Craig, who is the founder of EFT and Official EFT. Gary tells us, after 30 remarkable years of developing EFT, it is time for a new chapter. I have some important news to share, and I hope you will receive it with the same openness and curiosity that have guided our journey since EFT first began. I am officially stepping into retirement, and with great confidence and a grateful heart, I am passing the reins of all things EFT to my dear friend, Gabriel Rutten, MD. Many of you already know Gabriel through her work with me. She has been an essential support for our webinars and has assisted behind the scenes in many ways. Together, we co-authored the only book that brings together the complete official EFT methods, gold standard EFT, and optimal EFT, official EFT from A to Z. Her dedication, clarity, and deep understanding of EFT are unmatched. I could not imagine a better or more natural successor. Gary went on to add additional information. You'll find a link to Gary's announcement in the show notes. Just a couple of days ago, Gabriel released a statement about how she plans to proceed with promoting official EFT and the Palace of Possibilities website created by Gary Craig. She tells us, quote, "A new chapter is beginning for official EFT and the Palace of Possibilities, and I step into it with gratitude and a strong sense of responsibility. I am honored to take over from Gary Craig. It is deeply meaningful to be entrusted with continuing the work he so generously shared with the world. I see it as my task to care for his EFT legacy and to move official EFT forward to the best of my abilities. This work deserves to remain clean, practical, and true to its essence. At the same time, people who are new to EFT deserve the clearest and most reliable guidance possible in learning this powerful tool." Gabriel goes on to share how she'll be hosting free support webinars, with that first webinar happening Sunday, January 25th. You'll find her announcement and all related information about what will be happening moving forward. Again, all of that will be in this episode's show notes. If you have any questions about what we've shared in this episode, please be in touch. Email me at cartermethod@gmail.com. If you're not yet following EFT Tapping Junction, I do encourage you to do so. You'll find our show on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and everywhere fine podcasts are available. To listen to previous episodes of this show and others focused on health and well-being, visit us at stressreliefradio.com. To be in touch, email me at cartermethod@gmail.com. Until our next visit together, your host, Steve Carter, wishing for you and your loved ones blessings in